I don't even have time to take a shit.
I reckon you're perverts.
Licking. In China, I'd probably get arrested for everything I just said.
大家好，我是 House， 你们好吗？
Just ask comedian Li Haoshi, better known by his stage name House. He was arrested after using a military slogan to describe the behaviour of his dogs.
作风优良，能打胜仗。
Fight to win, forge exemplary conduct was a punchline unveiled by Xi Jinping to praise the PLA back in 2013. And in 2021, China enacted a law criminalising insults against the military. Li hasn't been seen since and could face a potential prison sentence. Yeah, all right, I'll get back to the jokes in a second, okay? Meanwhile, the company that hired him has been slapped with a 14.7 million yuan fine. That equates to about 3 million Australian dollars. An amount foreign to comedians considering we're mostly paid in drinks. Ooh, don't mind if I do. It's all part of China's so-called cultural law enforcement to bring all forms of cultural entertainment in line with government policy. It's spreading fear among performers, prompting some comedy operators to stick to safe topics or cancel shows entirely.
So in this case, it's someone in the audience who recorded the joke and posted on social media. And once this story begins to brew on social media, state media then steps in, and the entire narrative around House has turned into essentially a nationalistic orgy, drowning any opposite viewpoints.
The crime would generally be categorized into jeopardizing national interest, and we know that the idea of national interest can be really broad and can be ambiguously defined.
Even viewers have been caught up in the crossfire, with one woman detained for defending Li Haoshi in an online post. Government agents are even showing up to comedy shows undercover. What are you looking at? It's not me, mind your own business. I spoke to one comedian in Hong Kong, but due to safety concerns, we're not able to reveal their identity. So here I am interviewing a mysterious Shadow instead. Hey Shadow. Actually, do you mind if I call you Shad?
Sure.
Cool. So firstly, Shad, why is it so difficult for me to find comedians to speak publicly on this issue?
No one wants to be the guy getting arrested. It's one of those things you never know if it's going to happen until it happens.
Right, and how do you know what the rules are when it comes to what you're allowed to say on stage?
When we go to China, it's pretty obvious. We know not to talk about the 3 Ts. Don't talk about Taiwan, Tiananmen, Tibet. But in Hong Kong, we don't know what the rules are. Right now, there is no strict rule of censorship. They're just making it up as they go. And that's the confusing part. It's kind of just based on what we see in the news.
Tell me what the crackdown is like on the ground. Will authorities show up to the shows?
We have had a lot of comedy shows getting shut down. Every now and then, the authorities will show up, but usually when they do, it's not really to do with material. They'll show up and be like, oh, we found out your fire license has expired. Or, oh, you're technically only licensed to sell beverage, but we saw somebody with some food.
What do you think the CCP finds so threatening about stand-up comedy?
I think what upsets the government is that in all those clips, people are laughing. The crowds are usually big and they're usually all laughing.
Even comedians overseas are feeling the CCP's wrath. Despite being based in the UK, Chinese-Malaysian comedian Nigel Ng and his alter ego Uncle Roger were cancelled by Weibo, and the comedian banned from any future tours to China after he posted this clip.
Uncle Roger gonna get cancelled after tonight. Nice, great, good report for Uncle Roger, okay? Dear CCP, Uncle Roger, good comrade, good comrade. Don't make him disappear, please.
So what's really interesting about the clip that supposedly led to Uncle Roger's being censored in China is that it wasn't even posted on his Chinese social media account. The clip was posted on his Twitter and Instagram account. So this shows that Chinese censors are not only monitoring what's being said domestically, it is now actively monitoring what's being said about China abroad.
So Shad, I was wondering if you could give me some advice. I have one COVID joke that does pretty well in Australia. I started thinking about how this virus travelled all the way from China
and found me, a Chinese person, in Australia. When I finally got COVID, I was like, it's okay. You're home now. I'll take care of you. And so I did. I took it in, showed it a good time, took it to some nightclubs, some cruise ships, some old folks' homes.
Would this joke be allowed in China?
Oh, no. China has 100% no COVID policy.
Damn. So what do you think the future of comedy in China looks like?
It'll probably be a little bleak. Comedy will become big, but the type of comedy will be very narrow. Nothing too edgy.
The future of China's comedy scene after House has generated a lot of discussions, and people have wondered whether China will return to an era that knows no laughter.
Interesting. Well, I don't know exactly how this is going to play out in the future, but after doing this story, I do know one thing's for certain.